Right, welcome ladies and gentlemen. Perhaps not so surprising, Bryan Fuller has exited Camp Crystal Lake, which is the Friday the 13th TV series. Now, the reason why I say not quite so surprising is just that we hadn't heard anything for a really long time, and generally speaking, when that happens, it's not a great sign. Don't get me wrong, there can be times, of course, when that is absolutely fine, and yeah, there are things behind the scenes, and it's just cruising along nicely, right? I understand that as well. But there's a lot of instances where you don't hear anything, and then you do, and yeah, it's not good. So what this is Camp Crystal Lake. This is a Friday the 13th TV series. It was going to be like a pretty long-running thing. A24 was behind it, etc. Bryan Fuller, great pick. Really cool pick. And yeah, now he's just exited. So sad times. So we'll take a look at this. Hit subscribe if you're new here, folks, and please do turn the bell notifications on. Be good to have you here more often. Do follow me over on Twitter as well, because some people don't get notifications. So if you follow me on Twitter, I will, or should, start sharing videos there. But anyway, like I said, Bryan Fuller has exited Friday the 13th prequel series. And it kind of was supposed to be a prequel, but also running like adjacent to some of the Jason stuff. So not a strict prequel. But Peacock and A24 apparently will be proceeding. Now this, the rumour had it before that A24 was pulling out. So this is perhaps good news under the bad, or the bad news under the good, whatever you want to call it. Because if A24 had pulled out, there would be no show moving forwards whatsoever. Like, I think A24 are pretty much influential in getting this off the ground. And I think this is a good thing for A24 to stay attached to. And the reason why I say that is it's their... I don't know if it's their first foray, but it is one of their first forays into TV, if not the first. And I think that's important for this relatively indie brand, movie studio, to dip their toes in, get their name out there a little bit differently, and diversify their portfolio. So I think that's a good thing, quite frankly. But apparently they will be proceeding... and they will be trying to find a new showrunner. So there you go. Bryan Fuller, obviously of Hannibal. So yeah, he was really good pick for this. Confirmed today on social media that he is exiting the series. So he says, for reasons beyond our control, A24 has elected to go a different way with the material. We hope the final product will be something Friday the 13th fans all over the world will enjoy. Now that's interesting. This is creative differences, basically, which is never really a good sign. It's always quite alarming when that happens. And the reason why I say that is because you got him on board for a reason to begin with, and now you're going a different way. So what changed? What happened? What direction are you looking to go in? Why did you not see eye to eye when you did at one point? You know? That's always quite concerning, especially when it comes to Bryan Fuller, because Bryan Fuller is great at what he does. He's like actually really good. I really liked Hannibal. Thought Hannibal was brilliant. So anyway, here's... it says you can see the full message below, which we'll take to in a minute. But the article continues. It says, as Deadline previously reported, Fuller's prequel series titled Crystal Lake had scored a straight-to-series order at Peacock in 2022. So they obviously liked the material. Do you see why it's concerning now? They clearly liked the material, and then they're like, nah, actually, we're not doing that now. And it was Peacock that did that. But then... You know, A24 was the studio. Fuller was going to be the writer, executive producer, and showrunner, which actually would have been really good for Peacock and A24, because that means that he could have stayed on as just the sole writer, because that was part of the new WGA deal. So this could actually end up costing them more money. It's a bit of a weird one when you look at it, genuinely. Victor Miller, who wrote the original screenplay of the 1980 movie, Mark Toberoff, Miller's copyright attorney, and Rob Barsamian, who produced the original movie, were also executive producing. And the original Friday the 13th movie, which starred Betsy Palmer, Adrian King, Laurie Bartram, and Kevin Bacon. Obviously, we know what it is. I don't get it. You know, Peacock series was ordered. Basically, it was put to order after a pretty major legal battle, so he could get the rights back. The legal case, which was decided by the Second US Circuit Court of Appeals, which I followed this, and it was quite a crazy thing, to be honest. So Miller won the rights to the character that he created basically everything. He can do anything he wants with it now. So, the producers of the original film, Horror Inc., which includes Barsamian, had argued that Miller's involvement was work for hire, but a judge ruled that it wasn't, and the case cleared the way for Miller to license a prequel series. And I think they clearly struck some kind of deal, because Barsamian was on board as well. But this is Bryan Fuller's statement. It says, adapting classic horror is something I have some experience with. These shows require a vision that elevates and transforms, as well as delivers what audiences have come to expect, which is an ambitious and risky endeavour. It requires people to take the leap with me. When it works, as with Hannibal, the result can be powerful for the storytellers and the audience. I couldn't be more proud of the work my co-showrunner Jim Danger Gray and I were able to accomplish with our brilliant writing staff despite the challenges we faced. For reasons beyond our control, A24 has elected to go a different way with the material. And then, we hope the final product will be something Friday the 13th fans enjoy. But that's quite telling, isn't it? That statement. His preamble there is essentially revealing what the differences are. They don't want to go on a journey. They don't want to take the leap with him, despite the fact they already ordered a straight-to-series order for the whole thing. And saying that he needs to be elevated and transformed, but also delivering. I mean, these are all things that you like the sound of course. There's nothing here which sounds bad. The bad part is the creative differences. But when I'm reading this, and I know Bryan Fuller's sort of, filmography, I struggle to see that he was the sort of weak link in the chain. He was the straw that broke the camel's back. I struggle to see that it's him that's the issue here. Massively, in fact. I think this is A24. And potentially Peacock. But Peacock did order it, and he is calling out A24. A24 has elected to go a different way. So, yeah. It's a shame. Massive shame. What do you say to this? It's a shame. I think everyone wanted this, who is, Friday the 13th fan. Crystal Lake, I think it could have been good fun. Bryan Fuller's great. He has a track record. So there you go. Disappointing, but apparently it's going to continue. And anyone else that they get is going to be infinitely worse, I think, than Bryan Fuller. There's very few showrunners that will be equal to Bryan Fuller with his track record. You'd have to get someone like Noah Hawley, I think. But even then, he hasn't really done horror, so... Well, kind of. I don't know. What do you guys think? Let me know down below. Cheers. Take care. Bye-bye now.